let's look at the rest of these learning activities that I told you about. So the fifth one is playing games. We just talked about that. Here you see some kids playing a bingo game in class. But the bingo game has something to do with being able to answer questions correctly. So it's not just, playing a game of bingo. It's a way to review the content that you're teaching and a way of assessing whether kids are learning and also a way of just learning. So games can be a very instructive part of our arsenal. Remember we said that kids at this age are growing rapidly, physically and intellectually, so they're capable of memorizing things. Here you see a young lady memorizing, taking to heart some simple Catholic prayer or doctrinal formula. Give them time in class to do that, and then see who has come up with the ability to recite a prayer from memory or a doctrinal formula like the Ten Commandments. I'm sure you've noticed how kids at this age have a hard time sitting still. So music, singing, dancing, these are all really good and important ways that we can reach them. Excuse me. And also, I do think that this is something that our Protestant brothers and sisters do very well. They teach kids to sing, and they teach them all the names of the books of the Bible by teaching them in song. So let's find ways that we can do similar things as Catholics. Here you go, puppets. What kid doesn't love a puppet? Finger puppets, sock puppets, paper bag puppets, puppet puppets. Any kind of puppet is going to be great for capturing the imagination of primary-age children. A couple more. One is what we call learning stations. This is something that I've done a number of times with different age groups, and it works really well with primary-age kids. And that is you set up a number of stations throughout the room, and each station focuses on one aspect of what you're teaching, and the kids move from station to station, completing very simple tasks. And then when you're all done, you lead a debriefing, so to speak. You kind of pull it all together and find out what the kids have learned, and they kind of are reporting back to you about the content of the lesson. And then finally, another activity that's really good, look at the fun this young lady is having, simply working on an activity sheet. Activity sheets, Blackline Masters. Take a look at your catechist manual. Take a look at your textbook publisher's website, and you'll find lots of different activity sheets, Blackline Masters, that you can engage the kids with. And they're really good to use after reading from the textbook to kind of reinforce what has been read and then helping them to learn to apply it. Here's an example. I do want to encourage you to visit the Loyola Press website because we have a free activity finder. So if you go to www.loyolapress.com, you click on Faith Formation, click on either of our two programs, Christ Our Life or Finding God, and then you will find the activity finder. And there are literally hundreds of free activities for all different age groups that you can find there to reinforce your lessons. Another idea to share with you is a product called Expand the Experience, and this is also available from Loyola Press. You see the address there on your screen. This is 120 laminated cards with age-appropriate activities, and they're all correlated with all of the major catechetical textbook series. So no matter what series you use, these cards can be used to come up with activities. They come in boxes for grades 1 and 2, grades 3 and 4, and so on. So this is something that chances are your DRE might want to purchase. It might be just a little out of range for an individual catechist to buy, but a DRE can purchase this and keep it on the shelf for a whole team of catechists to be able to access. Let's take a look then at some of the ways that we can prepare the learning environment to make it more conducive to the lesson that we're teaching. So, just like you're inviting someone over for dinner, we prepare the space to let them know that we were expecting them, that they're welcome, that this is something we're excited about. Well, there's lots of things that we can do as catechists to prepare the environment we teach in. The first thing is try to get there early and make sure that the space is neat and clean. And when everything is organized like that, it helps to provide a calming effect for kids, that they're walking into something that's very orderly. Get there early as well to make sure that the seating arrangement is put together in such a way that it's welcoming, that it's functional, and that it's also going to be something that feels a little less like going to school and a little more like sharing faith or even like going to church. So use that seating arrangement to your advantage. Make sure that you can provide some name tags or name tents for the first few weeks that you're with them. It takes a while to get to know their names, and if they have a nice big name tag on, that's going to help you as well. I think one of the most important things that we can do is to set up a little prayer table, a prayer center. You see this picture of the kids gathered around the prayer table, a little simple cloth covering the table. There's some symbols on there, a little statue of Mary, some praying hands, some rosary. You can put a Bible on there, a crucifix, a bowl of holy water. They're all different kind of symbols, and you can invite kids to bring in symbols to add to that as the year goes on. A few more things we can do with our environment. Kids are very visual, so you can display posters and pictures and sacred objects that can really help them in their visual learning, as well as teach them about how Catholicism is sacramental. In other words, we teach beyond words. We are a visual faith. Take advantage of the chalkboard, easel, wipe-off boards, overhead projectors. Get there early and make lists on the board, anything that will help you to not have to turn your back while you're teaching. If your list is on the board before class starts, you won't have to turn your back and write it while you're teaching, and you don't want to be turning your back on kids too often if you don't have to. Organize all your supplies, especially with primary age kids. You're probably going to be using lots of different supplies, so take advantage of organizing that ahead of time to keep things moving smoothly. If you're going to use technology, which is good to use with primary age, they already know how to use computers, so showing them a DVD or something like that is very effective. Get there early, make sure you know how to turn it on and off and how to adjust the volume, and just to make sure you know how that technology works. And then finally, this is a good way to practice stewardship. Make sure we straighten up before we leave. Chances are we're teaching in a class that belongs to the Catholic school teacher who spends all day there and has it organized in a certain way. And so out of respect for him or her, we want to be able to put things back the way we found them.